Hi. So South Africa won the WTC Championship final for the 2023 to 25 WTC cycle barely 3 days back at the historic Lord's Cricket Ground, and they are still busy celebrating. But in the meantime, silently and subtly, the new test cycle, that is the new WTC cycle of 2025 to 27, has kick-started with a test match between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh at Colombo today. And yes, it's a little low profile, which is understandable because it doesn't involve any of those top five test cricketing superstar nations. But it is as important to Sri Lanka and Bangladesh as to every test playing nation and in fact ICC. Because the logic is simple. Test cricket has been under a deathbed for quite some time. ICC had made some great promises saying that in spite of the T20 cricket and franchise cricket, they would do everything to ensure Test cricket grew and it thrived. But the reality has been just the opposite. Because too much of Test cricket and too much of money has flown in, fans have also had been used to now the exciting format of a shorter version of cricket, so they are now deserting Test cricket. Stadiums are looking empty. Broadcasters are not finding it sustainable, so they are not paying too much money to telecast the Test cricket. Test cricket is getting expensive because there is not much return. The boards are finding it financially unviable to conduct too many test matches for most of the countries except for the top three like India, Australia, and England. So what is happening is that even countries like South Africa, who in spite of winning the WTC final, we all know how they have been treating Test cricket. They are playing so little Test cricket, and in fact, even then also with so little Test cricket, they didn't mind sending a C team to New Zealand to get thrashed in the beginning of the 2023 to 25 cycle because they wanted to prioritize their T20 domestic league and they wanted their superstars to play, so they were ready to sacrifice the Test cricket. So Test cricket is actually in a coma and in deathbed. In that scenario, it is mandatory that if not new teams, they should come up to make it exciting. At least the old teams should be playing at their old level or at their peak level, which they were playing 20 years back. But contrary to that expectation, things have turned southwards for most of the countries, especially Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and West Indies, who have reached and who have nosedived and reached a real abyss in terms of Test cricket because of too much priority in T20 cricket and lack of interest and passion among their players. Now, West Indies, we can leave it for some other day, but coming to Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, they have also suffered because of the retirement of too many of their superstars or Test cricket legends. And when these legends go out and T20 cricket is now becoming the predominant format, there are not many pure Test cricket material players who are ready to take the place of the retired players. So then the standard is going further and further down and the replenishment is not happening. And both the countries, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, have suffered the most. Sri Lanka have lost continuously players of great talent and great pedigree in the last 15 years. The latest being Dimut Karunaratne, who retired recently. Now they are not easy to be replenished. Now even Angelo Matthews, who is one of those two veterans along with Dinesh Chandimal, has announced his retirement after this series with Bangladesh. So Sri Lankan team will be further depleted. So they are desperately hoping that the six uncapped players they have filled their team with this time, some of them would come good and then they would give a great statement to the world and some promise to the world that yes, now a new team with real talent and pedigree is coming back to the fore and they are going to become the old Sri Lankan team and they would be challenging the top ones for the ultimate honor. So one hopes players like Lahiru Udara or Sonam Dinusa or Tharindu Ratnaike would be coming good, and then the players who have already been there for some time like Kamindu Mendis, who has been struggling in spite of all his talent this year because he has just had 150 in the last 6 months. Hopefully he should come back to his form because he is a fabulous player. Then Dhananjay De Silva, their captain, should come back to form. Then Nisanka, he should perform, and then they have Chandimal on which to fall back upon. He is a proven warrior. Now coming to Bangladesh, they are also going through the same transition. A lot of players have retired. Mamadullah has gone, Shakibul Hassan has gone, Muspikar is at the last leg of his test career, and then new players are not consistent. So Shanto, who is their best batter and captain, has just had 250s in the last 10 tests. Muspikar doesn't have a single 50 in the last 13 innings, and also Mominul Haq is struggling. And then there are players like Mehdi Hassan Miraj, who is their best player in the last 2 years and who has had a fabulous 100 and who has taken 5 wickets against Zimbabwe to win them a test last time. He is also injured in this test, but hopefully he should come back fit. They would be banking too much on Taijul Islam as their frontline spinner, and he would be supported by other bowlers and also their frontline batters. They would desperately need to come good, like Amanul Haq and Sadman Hassan. So they would hope them to click, and then they would be also hoping Jakar Ali to come good, Liton Das to come good, and those two lanky bowlers, that is Mahmood Hassan and Nahid Rana, especially Nahid Rana, with his height and with his bounce, he has been really creating problem for any top test playing nation batters. So hopefully he should now establish himself as a world class bowler. So yes, some exciting talent is there, but consistency is what both the teams lack, and hopefully this first test will show that finally the two teams have now settled down and they're ready to now challenge the top nations in the next cycle or the coming cycle. So all the best to both the teams. Thank you.